really the only way to handle, or to me anyway, the preferred way to handle cooler weather. And it's a great stress relief. God knows life is stressful. Certain people tend to make it more stressful at their convenience. You get that. Hello, Sadie. If only it was just clear last night, I would have stayed up for the meteor shower. But unfortunately, it was overcast. There was a few stars out, but quite a lot of cloud cover. But we'll see. I may get up sometime between 3 AM and 5 AM to see if I can see the meteor showers. Something like 12 meteors an hour, give or take. If I do, well, I'll have to have a fire going, but I think I'm almost out of firewood again. I'm going to have to go trim up some trees. I mean, there's plenty of dead wood lying around, but time and energy. There are other issues I have to deal with. At some stage I'm going to put an anti-suckling device in my cattle's noses because the silly cows, literally stupid cows, keep suckling each other, which you may think is cute, but the problem is when they have young, they will steal each other's milk and the calf will die. Unfortunately, they are pretty much full grown now, and I need to put them in the cattle crush, which isn't in the right location. So I need to get the tractor and see if I can lift the cattle crush and move it to the right location. Then I've got to get the cattle in the cattle crush, and I don't have any cattle panels that I can guide them into it, so I need to work that out. And I certainly don't have any money to do that at the moment. Cattle panels are about $100 a panel. So that adds up. Cattle panels are, a 6 foot high cattle fence. That's, I don't know, 1.5 meters long, 2 meters long, 6 panels, 6 wires on it. I just saw a nice little kookaburra come down. He's obviously found something in the ground. You may have seen him floated down as well. But to get a good cattle yard, you need a cattle crush and some panels, so that you can guide the cattle into the cattle crush, because obviously they don't want to go into confined space. Hello, Loki. But anyway, it's nice to have the fire going again. I was out here last night with the fire too, but it was overcast and just not worth it. Not worth it to have a live stream, that is. So, get out of the way of my fire, little girl. But I saw, just before I was about to go in last night, it was quite dark, and a bush curlew flew down, landed in the paddock in front of me, which was lovely. I stopped the dogs from going to say hello, and he stayed there, and well, but nice to have a few days of dryness. I believe now, whereas that's pretty much the rain come and gone. Supposed to have a dry winter, which in some ways would be good because I have a lot of work to do in the property and I can't do that when it's wet. Now I did end up taking the video down that I said on Saturday that I put out there, but Saturday I went out, or on the weekend anyway, might not have been Saturday, I went out and fixed up one of the fence lines which I'd seen the barbed wire had broken on one of the strands, so I tidied that up, and when I was out there I noticed that that fence line had damaged when I'd taken RJ and Ghost when they're here for a tour of the property, who I doubt I'll ever see again, but anyway, I've said my goodbyes there, and so I've got round to going out there and fixing up that strand to find that 2 other strands are broken. Unfortunately, the first trip out there I only had enough wire to fix that one strand, so I had to fix that one strand, come back and then fix 2 more, get more wire, go back out, fix 2 more strands, and then found another strand broken. But having said that, I mean, I took enough wire this time, to barbed wire, to fix the additional strands. And like, it's not like the barbed wire is breaking, because a lot of the old fence line here is old wooden posts which have been driven in, old iron bark, and they've probably been there for 50 years because it's iron bark. And it's the what are you doing, Justice? And it's where the hey, leave that. Sorry. And it's where the barbed wire has gone in a hole and wrapped around, so it's been in the iron bark, and over time termites and dirt and everything have covered around it. And so what's happened is it's held moisture on that little part, and that's why it's rusted out and broken. The general fence condition's in pretty good nick, comparatively speaking, considering how poorly the last tenant looked after this property. But there's still an absolute shite ton of work to do, and I can't do it when the ground's wet. I need to clear a bit of land, or clear a lot of land, and then I need to fence that land so that I can put the cattle out there. The cattle's not a big issue, because I can run, like you can see the white wire here, that's the electric fence. I can run that electric fence out there. It can do several kilometres. So I could run that across the property, and if I had a clear bit that the cattle could actually go and graze in there, but there's nothing for them to graze at this point in time, because it's all just black wattle and shrub, as you can see out there. So that needs to be cleared, and the bigger trees left to thrive with less competition. Certainly want to leave the iron bark there. Don't want to leave too many spotted guns. You can't do much with the spotted guns. But the iron bark is good for pretty much everything. It's solid, you can use it for posts, and it burns really well. If you want to actually, if you've got any left over to burn. God knows I've got a need for fencing posts around here, and if you season it, season it well, weather it well, let it sit after it's been cut for a bit, it's quite lovely. And it's red iron bark out here as well, because there's a lot of iron in the soil, a lot of red dust around. Anyways, it's been 7.5 minutes of me rambling, looking at a fire, talking to nobody. I can't see your chats because of the product I'm using, which is Prism. You think, why am I using this product instead of doing straight on Facebook Live? Well, this allows me to stream onto my YouTube channel as well, which is just for my posterity and keeping more than anything else, because Facebook only keeps your videos online for 30 days. So yeah. Anyways, unless something else comes up, I'll talk to you later. Great win on the weekend by Labor. I'm not a big fan of a majority government. So happy to see the Greens get ousted. Not that we did any better with the Australian Democrats, but still. The Greens are too ideological. They don't take a reasonable view on a lot of matters. So, anyways, it's a nice name and it gets people's attention. So people vote for them. But they got ousted. And the leader is even fighting for his seat, which is quite funny, I guess is the way. I've got some Greens friends in here, and I'm sorry, but I don't like the Greens, I never have. As I said, ideological. I'm not into ideological stuff. Prefer reasonable, thought out stuff. And unfortunately that doesn't win friends. I've lived with that my entire life, and I guess enjoy, everybody. Have a lovely evening. I might come up later on if the stars come out and I can get any photos, but we'll see.